man, I get a lot of questions, emails, calls, all of it about seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, as the nerds say. Actually, the nerds say seasonal affective disorder. The cool kids say SAD. So, here's what it is. All right. So if you back up and look, take a 30,000-foot view, it's the feeling you get. It's this feeling of being low, of being depressed, of being underwater, if you will, in the fall and into the winter, and usually through the winter, sometimes into the spring. This is, it has genetics in origin. It has family of origin in origin, right? Wherever your lineage comes from. All that, in all honesty, if you want to go listen to Dr. Andrew Huberman's podcast about it, you can go down a rabbit hole. He's way smarter than me on this stuff. Here's what I want you guys to know. Number one, it's a for real shift. It is real, okay? And it's a downregulation, as the nerds say, in mood. And it affects true seasonal affective disorder, right? The actual depression affects about 5% of the population, give or take. But I think infinitely more folks suffer from, feel acutely that downregulation of mood, right? And here, when I moved to Tennessee, so I was in West Texas, which is about 30 or 45 minutes from one time zone. And I stayed in the same time zone moving to Tennessee, but now I'm in Nashville, and I'm 45 minutes from the other time zone. And so at 5 o'clock in late fall and into the winter here in Nashville, 4:30, it is pitch black outside. It is night dark. And my first year I moved here, I remember about February feeling like something was sitting on my chest. I couldn't breathe a lot. I thought something was wrong with me. I started thinking I'd taken the wrong job. I just thought I wasn't okay. And then it occurred to me one day I was walking to work. And by the way, I was going to work and it was pitch black. I was getting out of work and it was pitch black. And there was just this gray that hung over the city of Nashville for a couple of months. It occurred to me, growing up in Texas in the South, this is the longest my body has ever gone without sunlight. I'm going to have to be really intentional about my mood and the things that affect my mood, right? So I don't want us to get caught up in the diagnostic, do I officially have seasonal affective disorder or seasonal depression, let's just talk about how we feel, okay? And so I don't know if I had clinical SAD, probably not, but for the purpose of the show, I just want to continue to challenge us beyond the diagnosis, okay? Depression, feeling low, into full-blown, I can't get out of bed because I can't breathe, right? Genetics, environment, we said all that. Here's a couple of things I've done over the past few years and recently that have made a tremendous difference. Now I love the winter here. It's unique and it's different, but I love it. I did buy, and I spent some money on it, okay? So this is not cheap. I got the expensive version, probably not the expensive version, but I did not go for the cheapest option. But I recently bought, it's a box lamp from, I wrote it down here, Northern Light Technologies. It's a box light. It's about $180. It's expensive. There's a bunch of them that you can buy for $25, $30, $35 that are basically art lamps, right? That you use them to draw with or to trace with. Mine has, I think, 10,000 lux. You can get them as low as 900 or 1,000. I just turn it on in the morning and I put it 12 to 14 inches from my face, and I just have my coffee and I do my morning gratitude journal and stuff in the morning. And I just have it on. Occasionally I'll glance at it, but it has made a tremendous difference in what I call like the domino effect. And these dominoes go one way and they can also go the other way. Okay. Dr. Huberman has done a great job over the past couple of years pointing out how critical light is, especially in the morning, to our eyes, into our brain function, and then our overall downstream physiology. So for years, it was important for me just to get outside in the morning. I didn't realize what a benefit that was simply because of the sunlight. I thought it was because of the cold exposure, which I'm sure had something to do with it. I thought it was because of the grounding. I like to go outside without any shoes on. But turns out, probably the most important thing I was doing was getting sunlight, even on cloudy days. even on overcast days. Um, and when you wake up and it is just pitch black and I get up super early, having this lamp has been a game changer for me. Um, Also going outside is a big deal. So here's a couple of, so number one, make it a point to get bright lights. Even if you just wake up in the morning and turn the lights on. By the way, if you wake up and continue to lay prone, lay down and just scroll your phone, the worst thing you can do. At least open your eyes and sit up and turn the lights on. And if you're married and somebody's just crashed out, and if you turn the lights on, they're going to stab you with the nearest sharp object, then leave the room and go somewhere where you can sit straight up and you can turn the lights on. I even do my meditations after I have some time in front of this light just to get me just to wake me up. And I go back and turn the lights off in the basement. Get light in your eyes, get light in your eyes, get light in your eyes. Morning walk, great. Bundle up and go for a walk. Have a light, whatever it looks like, okay? Here's a common thing that happens, and it's the dominoes going the other way, right? So you start your morning with light, you start your morning with your gratitude, you start your morning with your exercise, your caffeine. You're starting a set of dominoes one way, and that one way is going to be an optimized mind, a body that's up and at 'em, a more positive attitude, a more positive morning routine. It also goes the other way. So if you wake up in the morning and you hit snooze and you hit snooze in that cold room, you feel so good because you're under warm coverage in that cold room, and you just stay in the dark, and you're in that. There's some technical words for it, but you're in that I call it that underwater space when you're not fully asleep, but you didn't go back to sleep all the way, but you're not really awake. You're just kind of there. And all of a sudden you wait until the last possible minute. You pop up out of your bed and you sprint into the shower and you take a 1,000-degree shower, super hot. You brush your teeth and you grab a bar of some sort and you run out the door and go to work. You have just started a dominoes with your cortisol, with your adrenaline, with your whole fight or flight system. And you head down, you start those dominoes, and then bam, by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, unless you're got an iron will, you're grabbing something from the candy bowl in the office. Somebody shows up with donuts, and you're like, I'll have 6. And then you're grabbing more coffee and more coffee and more coffee, and then a Red Bull. And then somebody's like, hey, dude, you like Monster drinks? And you're like, no, I like my trucks like a regular person without being 17 inches off the ground, but I'll have a Monster. Like you start that road, you go down that road. And a common side effect of seasonal affective disorder, and I happen to be of the opinion that one begets the other, is as the days get shorter, substance abuse increases, your drugs of choice. And so people will drink a little bit more. They will grab another drink and another drink, or they'll start smoking again. It just feels like it's right because it's cold. Let's grab a cigarette, whatever it is. Go to holidays, and then you drink, and then it messes up your sleep, and now you're back in the morning, and you don't want to get out of bed. And see what I'm saying? Like the dominoes have gone that way. I call it the underwater effect. You just slowly find yourself underwater, and then, man, mid to late December, you're in the holidays, and it's family drama and stuff, and you're over budget, and you just can't get out of bed, right? You've just locked it down. So, and by the way, you're not exercising at that point. You're just eating whatever you can get. So it just starts a cycle. So I want to be intentional on the front end of this cycle. Here's some things I have found besides light, okay, that keep me from going down that cycle. It's to go the other direction. And these are not going to be popular. And what I'll tell you is you get to choose your hard. Do you want to have hard, miserable, short days that are cold and dark and just bleh? Or do you want to have hard days that you do hard things and you are enjoying these days? You get to pick one. Both of them are going to be hard, okay? And I've done them both, and I am choosing the optimistic, joyful, hard things to do, okay? Number one, I don't drink during the holidays. I just don't. If you do, watch how you feel and make sure you don't skip your routine the next morning, regardless of how much you have to drink the night before. It just it compresses an already devolving mood, and I've just not found it to be worth it. And then it starts messing up my sleep, and it makes it hard to get up in the morning, and then I eat junk food. It just starts a whole set of dominoes. I know holiday parties, and I know holiday family time. Some of you, the only way to get through holiday time is with 1 or 2 or 7 or 9 glasses of wine, be really intentional about cutting back your alcohol intake. If you can't, this is a great time of year to say, I'm going to start anew and get on top of that. Cold water exposure. I won't go into all the nerd stuff about it. Whether you're going outside, and I went to Tractor Supply and got a $100 tub, and I filled it up with water. I haven't done it in a while, but I used to do it every single day. It's transformative. 2 or 3 minutes, and you think you're going to die. My son used to get in there with me for several months. Now I rarely take anything other than a cold shower in the morning, and I get my water comes from a well and from a spring, like out of the side of a mountain, out of the side of a hill, and it's cold and it's transformative again in the morning. Militant about exercising. I just don't miss, especially between November and January. Unless I'm sick, I don't miss. I go do something down there. And then I say down there in my home gym. I just have a couple of weights in my basement. Don't miss. You got to move your body. Some of you don't have any weights. You're not interested in that. Great. Go for a walk. If you can't go for a run, go for a walk. If you can't go for a walk, just go outside and, I don't know, just walk around your front yard. You got to move your body, okay? And then I count calories. And this is a whole downstream set of drama. Not in a draconian way, or not like in a like I've got a headband on and my wife's got leg warmers and we're like doing Jane Fonda and we're like have a menthol cigarette and a tab and we're like, we're going to count calories. Not like that. But I'm intentional about what I'm eating and how much, because it's just so easy to grab a cookie and then another cookie and then another cookie and then let's go ahead and grab this and I'm going to put extra creamer in here. I'm going to get some more bacon. And suddenly I'm adding 1,000 calories per day. And that just has an effect on how I feel and how I move and my overall mood. And there is some, this is kind of give or take. I take vitamin D, K2. I get it from Thorne. And remember, go thorne.com/u/Delony and you can get 25% off everything. I do take it. I think the efficacy is, we're still trying to figure that out. But meaning, I don't know if supplementing with vitamin D is as important as going outside and getting vitamin D naturally, but I do it anyway. And then I'm outside a lot. I'm a big hunter, big walker. I like to be outside a lot. And so even when it's freezing cold, but there's just outdoor exposure and sun and changing temperatures, all these things lift mood. Okay. Here's an important thing before I wrap it up. Depression is very, very real and it's very, very dangerous. Okay. Holidays can be a heavy time too. If you find yourself underwater and the idea of these things I just said, like I can't take a cold shower, I can't get out of bed. I'm starting to have hard conversations with myself about whether I need to be here anymore, whether I'm ever going to get these debts paid off, I'm ever going to be able to stop drinking or stop eating. And you have suicidal thoughts about quitting life, or you find yourself looking at pornography again and again and again and grabbing another drink and another drink. Call somebody. The world would not be better without you here. And it's very flippant of me to say, oh, it's all just a bunch of behavior. It is. You can change a lot of it. But some of you are going to be in a statistical minority of folks who are suffering from deep depression, and you got to reach out. You got to reach out. And if you love somebody who's struggling, don't just say, oh, you need to exercise. I'm going to turn all the lights on in the morning. Not cool. Model by example. Lead with love. Okay. If you find yourself you can't do anything, make that call.